Cash Fam, it's Paula, and today I'm going to be talking to you about what letting go of what no longer serves you actually means. Thanksgiving and the holidays are coming up, which means there's a lot of more food, more gifts, more money that needs to be spent. So letting go and being content with what you have is probably a very relevant topic right now. I know it has been for me. I am actually implementing a lot of these letting go things that I'm about to talk to you about today. And I think the lesson to be taken from that is just making a home or feeling at home with yourself is just as much about letting things go than it is about adding things in. And so this holiday season, I'm just hopeful that all of you are going to reflect on what you're happy with in your life and really take inventory of what makes you happy and what's meaningful for you. So in this video, I'll be covering 3 things that you can be letting go of and what to embrace instead if you want to really let those things go. The first of those things is if you want to let go of perfectionism and control to embrace spontaneity and change. This one in particular is really hard for me. As you all know, I'm a huge passion planner geek. I love planning all the time, but to a point, it can be very rigid and you fail to be able to be as flexible. You also forget to have fun. That's definitely something that I've struggled with this year. I choose 4 words every year that I want to embody. So for 2019, it was creativity, empowerment, passion, and authenticity, which are all great words, and it's gotten me to where I am now, which I'm very thankful for. But the dark side of all of those words is that it really requires a lot of emotional labor. It requires a lot of work. They're very active words. And so going into 2020, I've been really thinking about, okay, what is it that I need right now? I can now let go of those 4 words and now really think about rest and tranquility and peace. In order to make room for the things that you want, you have to let go of the things that no longer serve you, which for me, those things are still going to stay with me, but they're not going to be the forefront of what I'm going to prioritize. So when it comes to perfectionism and control, what is it that those things are preventing you from doing that you've always wanted to do? So an example of that is maybe you want to start creating your own content, or maybe you want to start your own business. But perfectionism and control can be really difficult for entrepreneurs because you really have to be flexible with a lot of curveballs and a lot of unexpected changes. And in order to deal with those things, you just have to understand that change is inevitable, and to be spontaneous and roll with the punches is the best way to go. I mentioned earlier that being a perfectionist and really desiring control has prevented me from having fun. So I decided to create a little holiday bucket list in my passion planner that is helping me embrace the fun this holiday season, because it tends to be a very stressful time for me, buying gifts for everybody, making sure that I have all of my obligations for friends' parties or family parties and whatnot in my planner. But it's my favorite time of the year, and I love doing all of the holiday festivities. I've always wanted to go ice skating during the holidays, and I never did. And so this year, I'm making it a point to make a fun bucket list for myself. And I think that's another really important thing too when you're thinking about passion planning and incorporating fun into your process is think of passion planning not just about to-do lists, but also bucket lists. So things that you really want to achieve, things that make you light up when you think about it versus just what you have to get done. Passion planning is not just about what you have to do, but also what you want to do. Definitely something to think about, especially with the holidays coming up. No plan is ever perfect, not even passion planning. The next thing is if you're trying to let go of what other people think about you, to embrace solitude and authenticity. It's simple to say them, but not as easy to live them. We're now living in a generation where other people's opinions are more accessible to us than ever before. We can literally whip out our phone or turn on our computer, and we constantly are inundated by how other people are feeling about certain topics, or even about a picture that we posted. We've learned to have a sense of self-worth from read receipts and likes and comments. And while we are even more connected through technology, in some sense, it also makes us disconnected from ourselves. And the answer to that, I believe, is to spend some time with yourself and only with yourself. And the things that you become comfortable with on your own are things that you're going to become more comfortable with other people. And I find personally that when I'm uncomfortable with how another person feels about me, It's actually just a reflection of the fact that I'm uncomfortable with how I feel about myself. When you're comfortable with how you feel about yourself, it really doesn't matter what other people think. And I think that's a constant process. I am a notorious people pleaser, so it's a struggle for me personally. But I can definitely say that in the past few years, I've gotten a lot better at it than in my early 20s. And it's really rewarding once you learn to embrace the parts of yourself that initially you feel very uncomfortable with. What I've learned is that the more that you embrace those parts of yourself, the better friends you have and the better community that comes out of it, because people are looking to connect with people that are similar to themselves. And if you put out a real version of yourself, you're gonna get real connections in return. So if that's something that you're still cultivating and you want to use your passion planner to really begin exploring that, something that I did with my new passion planner daily is to write 20 things that make me a badass, which this is actually a homework assignment that I received from a life coach that I had been working with in a group of entrepreneurs that I'm a part of. Basically, what comes out of making a list of that is really being able to shift your mindset about how you see yourself, because oftentimes we're pretty critical about who we are, what we do on a daily basis, constantly evaluating how we're doing at work. Sometimes we'll leave a social interaction where we just met new people and we're just like, oh my gosh, did I sound like a total dork, or all of these things. By writing things and claiming who you are, that is the first step to embracing authenticity. I really encourage the solitude part because it's so easy to connect with people, right? Through our phones or whatever. I mean, when you're waiting anywhere, the first thing you can do is, if you're feeling uncomfortable, you just whip out your phone and just scroll through social media. I encourage time alone because I think by spending time with yourself, you're getting comfortable with yourself. And I don't think that people should necessarily feel like it's a bad thing to be alone. I actually really like being alone, and that's why I talk about JOMO days in my last video, or joy of missing out days. I just encourage that in order to discover what it means to be authentic to you, you have to learn how to spend time alone and by yourself. The final thing that you can let go of is scarcity. And by scarcity, I mean this constant feeling of not having, being, or doing enough. And if you want to release that belief about yourself, you can embrace gratitude, which is perfect because it's the Thanksgiving season. Being grateful is actually really hard. It requires time on your part and for you to slow down. And in a time where we value progress and elevating and the hustle constantly, it's really difficult to find content or even inspiration to really just be content with where you are. I think that's what gratitude is all about. And gratitude does not mean being content with where you are and deciding not to pursue your goals because you're happy with where you are. There's a difference between being complacent and being content. Being complacent is when, okay, you're not really doing anything about your current situation and you're not really reflecting on it, but gratitude actually propels you towards your goals because you realize everything that you have. By realizing the resources and the people and the support at your disposal, it's just going to elevate and empower you. Some suggestions for using your passion planner for embracing gratitude. There's plenty of spaces, obviously. In the passion planner daily, in the inside cover, it says, who or what I'm grateful for. So you can use that section. Each day in the passion planner has good things that happen. So those are things that you can reflect on. Personally, what I did one month was using the monthly layout and wrote something that I was grateful for each day. The possibilities are endless in your passion planner to really embrace gratitude. I think the advice that I could give to you that I'm still trying to hold for myself is really make time for your gratitude practice. Just like anything else in life, when you're building a habit, it requires time, it requires effort. So even if it's just one thing a day or 5 minutes a day, just make it a point to take that time and be grateful. Whenever I make these videos, it's always super easy to talk about personal development. It's always easy to talk about all of these things, but it's even more difficult to live it. And it's challenging to really apply all the things that I learned, even for me. I'm always honest with all of you that I'm still a person in process, I'm still a person in progress. And everything I share with you are things that I've learned up to this point, but I'm still learning each and every day, as I'm sure all of you are as well. So in the spirit of letting go, let me know in the comments what you want to let go of in 2019 and what you're going to make room for in 2020, whether that's using your Passion Planner daily or your 2020 Passion Planner, whatever it is. I would love to hear it from you all. And if you like this video, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And until then, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.